Yo, what's happening everybody? King GBL here, and welcome back to some Open Great League. Today I'm going to be showcasing a really fun and cool team in the Great League, featuring Sableye Double Fairy. This is a team idea I got from somebody in my chat, and the team originally came from another content creator called Gyarados in a House. I think that's how it's pronounced. He's a German content creator. I pronounced that horribly, by the way. I do apologize for any German viewers out there, but welcome in everybody. Hope you're all having a fantastic day. On the face of it, when you look at this team, you might think like it looks like a bit of just a sort of silly team, or it's not like a serious team. It actually done very well for me. However, I run it for a second day, and in one set I think I had 3 Ferrothorns. If you see Ferrothorn, it's going to be tricky. But other than that, I was very impressed with Shadow, Alolan, and Ninetales in the Open Great League. It's a Pokemon that you don't really see that often. I recorded these battles in the last Great League rotation, so these battles are around Veteran Elo. So if you're currently sitting around Veteran, this could be a team that could be working for you. We've got the Azumir, the ever exciting Azumir. But yeah, like I said, Ninetales was quite impressive. I'm running it with Psyshock because it's a little bit cheaper for the Ape matchup. I go for a slight undercharge, I don't quite make it here. And we have a Powder Snow Sandslash coming in. I'll come back and move Sableye. We have a move banked. Sableye tends to beat this. They need to throw 2 Ice Punches. You need to land 1 Foul Play plus Shadow Claws, and that'll basically take it out. This is still a little bit too healthy for my Ninetales to deal with, so I do need to get off this move. I don't believe this quite one-shots, but it'll get it low enough to the point where Ninetales can probably Powder Snow down. And guys, there were so many teams that are just running so weak to Ninetales, it was kind of crazy. We're going to come in here, we're going to Powder Snow this all the way down if we can. We can take a Drill Run, no problem. And we just need to hope that we can look to one-shot something in the back. Drill Run coming in, doing heavy damage, and the opponent brings in a Gligar. I farm up to more than back-to-back moves, and this is just absolute curtains. Gligar, especially in the last couple of weeks of Great League Remix, I'm sure you guys are as sick of looking at it as I am. People are still running it in Open Great League today. So hopefully whenever you run this team, you're going to run into them as well. Anyway, very quickly before we hop into the video, if you're still with me at this point, 2 minutes in, do me a favor, just exit full screen, drop a like in the video, subscribe if you've not yet done so. I am getting fairly close to 5k, and I want to say a big thank you for all the support in the videos. Dugong versus Azu. It's a positive matchup for Azu. I decided to chip it first, because if they debuff like 2 or 3 times, this gets really awkward actually. So I decided to get the heavy damage through. As you can see, they're going to make this really, really close. They end up swapping out into the Clodsire. I'm running Hydro Pump on the Azu. On the face of this team, if you look at it, it's quite weak to like a Basti, so I wanted to run that extra coverage for Basti. Now, typically speaking, you can tank 2 Earthquakes. As you can see, that does not do that much damage, and the opponent will be forced to put up the first shield if they want to maintain any sort of alignment here. They do shield, and I'm fairly happy with the situation, I think. I have 2 options here. I could shield, get off another Hydro Pump. I could come in with Sableye, get a bunch of energy, or I could come in with, of course, the Ninetales. I decided to take the Sableye energy, and we're going to look to just basically get a massive farm. I really want to commit to the farm down, but I don't want to shield twice, so I throw the move here. We still have a Foul Play banked, and hopefully we should still be in a fine position here. They come into Dugong, I throw the move immediately. I believe they banked a move before they left, and at this point, we're basically happy to let the Sableye go. They come into Scrafty, and this should be basically GG's. The one awkward thing about Scrafty is, you know, of course, it has neutral counters and everything, so it is a little bit awkward. Ninetales, unless it has Charm, isn't really the greatest answer in the world to Scrafty. Look at this, they're chunking for us. I do get a CMP tie on the next pop, and it's at the point now where like a return or a Foul Play will be coming very close to taking it out, so I'm pretty happy to let this go at this point. The opponent will get some extra energy here, which is kind of annoying, but they're basically in Foul Play range. These counters are adding up, but I decide, okay, let's just throw the Foul Play. They probably survive it, but they shouldn't make it to 2 moves, and we should be basically fine here. The opponent will get off a last second move. Of course, we're going to shield it. It's only a pop, but we'll just shield it anyway. Farm all the way down, and that's good games. So, Ninetales, bit of an awkward one unless you're using Charm, but I just really enjoyed using Powder Snow. Mantine is a pretty neutral lead, just pretty fine into my whole team, so I guess I just stay in for a while. We're running this like an ABB team. We need Sableye to deal with the answers to fairies, basically, which would be something like a Toxapex, I guess, or a Registeel. Sandslash, as you're seeing coming in here. Sableye is our best answer to it. So we do basically have to swap out, try to get alignment, try to draw out their best answer to a fairy, and hopefully set up Ninetales to sweep. I'm going to go straight for the Hydro Pump, no messing about here. As you can see, like, we're still decently healthy, the opponent still has to throw a Drill Run, and we're up a shield. I might even consider shielding here and getting off another move, but I guess I decide, okay, we're happy enough with this. Unfortunately, don't quite make the last player off. We're happy enough with this. We come in with Sableye, get a bunch of Shadow Claw damage through. I'll happily, I think, take a move, or maybe I do shield this one. I guess I'm going to shield one of the moves, and once again, we're going to look to try to sweep with Ninetales. We do get rid of this. Hopefully, it's the best answer to Ninetales on the team. They are in Powder Snow, so it's not really a hard answer to Ninetales. But as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, teams aren't necessarily super prepared for Ninetales. I think the opponent has to go for a Water Pulse here. They go for an Ace. Does not quite knock me out. They come into the Cloud Tower, and even though if you look at the typing matchup here, this looks really bad on the face of it, we actually can live a Stone Edge. These Powder Snows plus Water Balls are really adding up. We do have to shield here, and the opponent actually might outpace me to the second one. This is going to be super close here. We'll get off this move. Of course, try to get the opponent's final shield, chip them down as much as possible, and basically we can look to go for a huge farm down with Sableye. I just need the opponent not to make a move. They're super low. And to my surprise, I didn't realize it at the time, but we actually live the Stone Edge. I go for the full farm down. We can even get off a Psyshock on the Mantine. Just a little bit of info between Psyshock and Water Ball. Psyshock does a little bit more raw damage, even though it's non-stab. So if you can only get off one move, go for Psyshock. Fantastic lead in the next match, and they come into Typhlosion. Typhlosion's a great safe swap because they have Thunder Punch. If they draw out a Mantine or an Azu, look at that damage. That is not insignificant. We go for free and fro. The opponent definitely can just shield here, make this really awkward, but they actually do let it go. So I'm pretty happy with that. The opponent just immediately top left. It's okay, GG's, thanks for playing, I guess. GG's, thanks for playing. I don't normally leave in battles like that, but there you go. GG's. Sableye versus this fantastic lead, and they come into the Dugong. Once again, we're going to hit it with the Chipper McDipper here. We're going to hit it with the Chipper McDipper. Bang, a little foul play coming through. I go for a 1 and swap, trying to catch an Icy Wind. I decide this time to come into Ninetales. So if you guys have been playing Open Great League for a while, think of what this team might be. So we have the Ape in the lead, right? Ninetales is not even a great answer to Ape, by the way. We have the Dugong safe swap. What is normally in the back of these teams? If you have a think about it, you'll probably come to the conclusion that I came to. That's either going to be Basti or Skarmory. That's the conclusion I came to. I decide I'm going to put my Ninetales in a matchup where it's going to be pretty neutral. The opponent shields here, not a great shield by them, because I definitely just outpaced them to Water Balls here. They actually come back into the Bastiodon, so that's exactly what I thought it was going to be. I decide here to come into the Azu. Sableye's a great answer, of course, to the Annihilate, so we can just come in Azu here. Azu actually beats us at CMP. I've told you guys this a few times, but Bastiodon, one of the lowest attack Pokemon in the entire game, loses CMP to a level 50 Drowsy, loses CMP to a level 50 Eevee, I believe. This thing loses CMP to almost everything. So even Bulky Azu can sort of do this here. I think I might live the move, but I just didn't want to risk it. At this point, I can actually just overfarm. They come in to go for the catch, and that's just absolute curtains for them. If they come into Ape, I go straight into Sableye here, get off the foul play immediately. From full health, you do live a Shadow Ball. We are starting to get a little bit lower. This foul play will put them in sort of an awkward range, honestly, where I probably still have to throw a move. So the opponent is basically dry here. They won't make another Shadow Ball unless I overfarm like crazy. We're actually already at 100 energy, so that's perfectly fine. We fully undercharge. It's not going to really make a difference. It's going to knock them out anyway. And it's just a race between the Basti. I'm not really counting here while watching, but I think they were getting pretty close to the move, so that match got pretty close. Sometimes you need to decide that you need to just make a team raid, basically. You see a safe swap, you think, okay, this is here to draw out X, Y, and Z. They probably have this in the back. It's a super common team. That's what I decided. It's either going to be Skarmory or Bastiodon, which of course is absolutely horrible for Ninetales. The opponent comes into the Dragonair, we come into the Ninetales, and we're going to absolutely eat this up. I go for the extra. I believe Dragonair will win CMP. And I've no need to throw straight away. They're not going to Dragon Breath me down. I build up an extra 5 Powder Snows here, and this is fantastic here. If the opponent shields, I'll just go back to back. They cannot farm me down, and yeah, we're in a very, very good position now. Sableye has got weakened quite a lot, but it should be probably in a fine enough position to deal with Lantern. Also, with the Spark debuff, or nerf, I guess that's a better way to put it, with the Spark nerf, Azu's not quite as bad into Lantern as you'd think, even on Spark. So Sableye comes back in, we have almost 2 Foul Plays banked. We're going to fire these off straight away. Basically look to get rid of this. I'm thinking, oh, they come in with a Guzzy, and this is just absolute game over. The opponent sees it, it's just absolute game over. Azu's a complete wall to Guzzy. So, you know, it's all well and good. Whenever you RPS people for the win, it's all well and good, isn't it? This match right here, it is fairly neutral, I would say. I think it's a win for Sableye technically, but it is fairly neutral. Both of us need to throw two moves. We outpace them to the moves. So in the zeros, it's pretty fine. Although, actually, does Vigoroth win the zeros? Because 2 Rock Slides looks like it'll knock out, or like 1 Rock Slide plus Body Slam. This is a very close matchup, actually. I guess I need to play this out in the ones or something. As you can see, like, they do actually survive 2 moves. 1 Rock Slide here will be looking to get me quite low, which is not great. We're using an ABB team. Just, Vigoroth is an awkward Pokemon. Right here, I think I probably should have banked the energy. We do get the foul play off though, at least. We just need to hope there's no like hard answer. I guess I do keep this alignment, and oh, they're actually double weak to this in the back. So this is just absolute GG's at this point. We can look to just pretty much shield through this thing. Powder Snow the life out of it. I think the opponent realizes after a while, like, yeah, this is just game over. I think what I decide to do here is just commit to Powder Snows. Oh no, I go for the thing. I guess I'm looking to get the shield off the opponent. What I could do here is just commit to the Powder Snows. get all the extra damage through. But yeah, this is just GG's anyway. The opponent will need to throw 2 seed bombs to knock me out, and yeah, they're just in a very, very awkward position here. The opponent gets off their 2nd seed bomb. I think I might just about survive it here. Yeah, I do survive it. I go for the play rough here just to look to get rid of it. We have energy banked on the Ninetales, and this should be absolute GG's. They come in, get a wing attack. We just about outpaced the move. We get the CMP tie, so it was actually very close in the end, and that's good games. Ninetales just absolutely sweeping that back line. We did have to make the swap just to keep the Ninetales alive, but yeah, that's good games. Fantastically in the next one here, once again, it's fantastic when you're RPSing people. They come into the dugong. By the way, guys, whenever the opponent insta-swaps into your 2-turn move using a free turn move, you throw in 6. Once again, we go for the catch on the Icy Wind, looking to basically aligning the Ninetales somewhere where it's not getting destroyed. I just think there's a Skarmory or a Basti in the back, so this is what we do. But yeah, so whenever the opponent is using a free turn move and they insta-swap into your 2-turn move, you throw after 6. If you're swapping into a free turn move with your 2-turn move, you throw after 5. Just a little thing to keep in mind. Here comes Skarmory. We do get off a last second Miller Ball. This is perfectly fine. First time it was Basti, this time it's Skarmory. This team variation is pretty common. I decide here Shadow Claws are going to be chunking the other thing. We can easily take a move on the Azu. If they Brave Bird and swap, I'm really happy with that. I get off a play rough. Just farm it down with Sableye and this game over, so I'm pretty happy to no shield. I actually go for the bait right here, which is kind of crazy, actually. I just realized, like, if I land that move, I can Shadow Claw down, so that's perfectly fine. I do put up a shield thinking they will most likely Brave Bird here, but they don't. I go for the play rough once again, which is quite an interesting play. I guess I'm just asking the opponents to let me chip them down, right? At this point, we can let this go, I think. Yeah, we can just let this go. They're basically in Shadow Claw down range. Back in comes Ape. They go actually for some sort of a weird catch or something. They come back in with Skarmory. Not too sure what that was all about, but let them cook, folks, let them cook. They're gonna just basically give me the entire farm down, and at this point, guys, I could probably just return the Annihilate. Probably not. I'll just go for double foul play. I'll look to take care of it. Funny enough, they actually live 2 foul plays, which is kind of surprising. Ape is such a good Pokemon. It's like not super glassy to the point where it just dies immediately, but it's just attack weighted enough or it does so much damage. I'm going to be showcasing probably an Annihilate team tomorrow. We get a Gligar lead. I have 2 answers to it, so I can go straight into my Azu. We're ABB Andy's here. We need to try to draw out some sort of a Steel type or whatever they have in the back. So the opponent's staying in here, signaling that they're a little bit weak to this, so they might have some Dragons in the back. They could have Ape in the back. If they have Ape in the back, you know, it's kind of awkward for them because I have Sableye and Azu. They end up shielding the foul play here, or sorry, the play rough. So definitely showing that they're weak to it. I decide, okay, we're just gonna get Powder Snow down. If it is like Ape or something, that's perfectly fine. We pretty much have free answers to Ape on this team. Ninetales more of a softer answer, but definitely an answer to it. They come into a Poliwrath, so that kind of makes sense here. They get a huge farm. Poliwrath with a huge farm is so just brutal, honestly. It's absolutely brutal. This is so awkward. I decide to shield. It is an Icy Wind. They usually do go for Icy Wind. Definitely super annoying here. Now, whenever you're facing a Shadow Poly, going for foul play is pretty fine. The opponent goes for another Icy Wind. I do make a very nice call here, and we're going to full send the return. I'm thinking because we've got them double debuff, they should let this go at this point. We're quite low, but the opponent's shielding, which is really awkward. Now, will the opponent decide to full send the move or go for a debuff here? I decide to call it. It is an Icy Wind, and in comes Annihilate. So the team is Gligar double fighter. Definitely a cool team. We're going to go straight for a Psyshock here. Because we're debuffed, it won't almost knock them out. A Psyshock will not quite one-shot, but almost one-shot the Ape. We go for a Water Ball here, and at this point, we have a shield. We just basically need to outpace the Poliwrath. The Shadow Claws are adding up. We go straight for the foul play, and that's going to be good games. So the opponent really just did not have an answer to Azu on that team. I do wonder if Shadow Poly is a better answer to Azu, but you would have to probably double shield it. They ended up double shielding the lead anyway. And I guess, you know, Gligar is not like an amazing answer to Sableye either. So that was a very tricky team for the opponent. Icy Wind coming in. This is just like a very 50-50 here. I hate baiting a resisted move, but if you land the resisted move, it doesn't quite put them in Shadow Claw down range, but it makes it possible to, you know, maybe throw another foul play. It's a very awkward match here with Poliwrath. I think technically it is a good matchup for Poly. We go for the return this time. Bang. I guess we do win the ones here, so that's perfectly good with Sableye. In comes this. And once again, because I have 2 answers to this, I probably should consider banking the move. I do once again hold on to the alignment, come into Ninetales because it's such a hard answer, and in comes Wish Daddy Cash. I'm going to chip it here, basically put it into hopefully like bubble down range, or like foul play range. I guess I'm staying in here to grab the final shield. The Gligar is getting pretty low, so like I could actually just stay in this matchup. They go for a Scald, they do get the debuff, I bank the move, and this should be basically curtains. They can only throw Mud Bombs. This is a non-shadow, so like this is so over. The opponent is staying in to fight it out, of course trying to swap out or do something. I'm just going to overfarm as much as possible here, make it tricky. Oh, actually I don't overfarm as much as possible. What I could have done is done like free and throw, which means it's really hard for them to come into their Gligar, but yeah, I can even just shield the Azu at this stage. I think I decided to shield the Azu, just get off the move right away. We live a dig anyway, so we didn't actually have to shield that. The dig would have come fairly close to knocking out. I just knew that I had a move banged. I don't have to do anything too fancy, just shield, get off the move, get off the Weather Ball with Ninetales, and that'll be game over. So Whiscash versus Ninetales is fairly neutral, but you definitely just outspam them. Fantastic lead in the next match, and the opponent comes into a Sandslash. Very tricky dicky here. I'm going to get off a Foul Play and I think go to Azu. We don't have a direct hard answer to Sandslash. Sandslash safe swap, by the way, is absolutely psychotic. I guess because I do have Sableye lead, it kind of makes sense, because if I'm running ABA weak to Charm, that is also quite psychotic, so I guess it sort of makes sense, but I don't know, I just don't feel good about it. I'm going to go for the Hydro Pump. I've taken the move. If the opponent wants to go down 2 shields, I'm pretty happy with it. So I'm like, yeah, you know what, I kind of do need to hold on to alignment. It is tempting to come in for a huge farm of Ninetales. I just decide here, like, I've got a fantastic alignment. They might have a Charmer in the back. I just don't want to go up alignment, right? It could be Sandslash plus a Charmer. I can farm this the whole way down. I can go for 1 and 4 on the Deoxys here. It's going to take 2 moves to knock out no matter what, so I go for Play Rough first here, do a decent amount of damage, and I think I commit to the Hydro Pump. This is going to do heavy damage. Just make the Deoxys basically useless at this point. The opponent comes into Umbreon, we bring in Ninetales. Little does Umbreon know, we do not have Dazzling Gleam, so that was actually going to be pretty close. And hopping into the next one, we have another Sandslash lead. We're always happy to stay in here. I'm seeing a lot of Sandslashes on Powder Snow. I guess the opponent's recognizing once again that we go for a Juicy Catch here as well. The opponent's realizing that Gligar is super common and Powder Snow is quite useful. We catch the Ice Punch of all things, and the opponent brings in a Poly to my Azu. I guess the opponent, you know, doesn't really have a great answer to Azu. Sandslash is the actual answer to Azu, so letting the Foul Play go probably wasn't the best of plays if they only have one answer to Azu, and that's Sandslash. They go for Scald. Poly is super annoying in this matchup, as you guys probably know. They can make this super close. I'm trying to commit to good timing. I realize the opponent's going to try and shield through me. They do go straight Scald, which is fantastic here. I'm going to go for a Play Rough. Of course, Scald is no longer a 50% debuff chance, it's now 30% as of the season. And right here, we do just about make it to the move. I'm thinking, like, Poly is just so annoying for this team. I'm going to get rid of this thing. 1 and 4 the Play Rough, no messing around. Look to get rid of it. Even if this doesn't quite one-shot it, which it does, I'll be pretty happy with it. They cannot exactly Powder Snow me down, but I think I'm now in a position where I can go for a juicy Powder Snow down. Ice Punch coming in. This is non-shadow. I decide to go for a catch on the Ice Punch. Absolutely unnecessary here, probably. And Stroll Run's going to come in. They come in with the Gligar, and this is absolute GG's. So many Gligars in the back. Absolutely nothing the opponent can do against this in the zeros. Bang, goodbye, and we're going to like to farm this the whole way down. So guys, if you're like me in the Open Great League, and you're just kind of sick of seeing Gligar, if you're sick of seeing Ape, this team triple counters Ape. You have 3 pretty decent answers to Gligar on the team. Things like the Toxic lines are pretty tricky for this, and things like Toxapex, of course, if you see it in the back, will be very tricky for it. I decide to let the move go. I'm not going to let the opponent know that I'm super weak to it, and the opponent brings in the Ape. I get a massive overfarm and catch the Night Slash on Azu. Pretty happy with this. The opponent's completely dry at this point, and we've put them into like almost a bubble down range. The opponent will get off a Shadow Ball here. I don't really want to shield this. I do need to maintain alignment. Alignment is so important in this match, but I don't want to shield a Shadow Ball. It's kind of like a rock on a hard place here. The opponent could start shielding. Thankfully they do not, and they come in for the jab down. I still have a lot of energy here on the Sableye. I'm going to go for Hydro Pump to do the most raw damage. I only get off 1 move, and that'll basically put it into Foul Play range. I am going to shield for my dear life against this thing. I cannot let Toxapex get onto my Ninetales. I have to shield here. It's pretty sad. The opponent will get off 2 moves, but I'm just forced to shield. I need to hope there's something good for Ninetales in the back. We actually do make it to this move on CMP, which is absolutely clutch. At this point, even if they shielded and took this out, Ninetales probably could deal with it at that point. They come in with Poliwrath, I immediately come into Ninetales. I want to get this move off before they get the debuff. Because I'm quick on the swap, I'm able to get this off on the CMP to the Icy when the opponent takes the move, and we should be basically chilling at this point. I can shield whatever move they want to throw. Because they did not get to debuff me first, it's pretty obvious they'll go for Scald. It's kind of their win con at this point. I can pretty much just build up 2 back-to-back thingy-majiggies here. Bro, I swear doing commentary is just an absolute struggle at times. I always do my commentaries first thing in the morning, and it is a struggle. It is a struggle, but GG's, that game was not too much of a struggle. It was pretty close, but pretty fine. This is a really awkward lead for this team. I think you just have to try to catch the move in Azu. I was tempted to go for the catch here. I go for the extra, of course, thinking they'll go for the CMP. Catching the first one's a little bit too obvious, I think. Some people throw straight away in 5, insta-throwing Andes. Some people overfarm and go for the CMP. This time I was going to try and catch in the CMP, but they don't go for it, so it's annoying. It's just an annoying lead. I guess you could play it out in the 2s, get both shields, get all the Shadow Claw damage through, and then try to take care of it. I do go for the catch, they don't throw it right away, they go for the extras. Like, it's just, you know, it's a complete guessing game. I do know that Azu can take these moves pretty well. Gator actually beats Azu in even shields. That's how stupid this thing is. And by stupid I mean just really good, right? It's like stupid good. And the opponent's not throwing the move. I was expecting the catch, that's why I'm not throwing my move here. Because I'm like, oh, they're going to catch the player off. But we do get the farm down, that's pretty good. And in comes a Clodsire. Now thankfully, I was watching the top right. If you ever get that situation, you have to try to throw the correct move, obviously. I was watching the top right, and we actually might have half a chance here. What I decided to do here, I think, is come into the Ninetales, bait them out, and go for the catch, right? We're going to get this Stone Edge right here, and I believe the opponent makes a bit of a mistake. They go for a huge undercharge, and they actually go for a catch of their own. They catch it on the Altaria, bang, we get off a huge return. This is going to do heavy damage to the Altaria, and the opponent actually makes a big mistake here. They allow me to get off this move. I think the opponent, of course, does not want to give a huge farm down to Ninetales. That makes perfect sense, but I think the one thing the opponents did not realise, and what I actually did not realise at this point either, is that we can live a Stone Age from this health. Bang! It does a lot of damage, but we do actually comfortably take that move. The opponent immediately top lefts, and that's good games. So Ninetales able to take a Stone Edge. You absolutely love to see it. What we do not love to see is this shit team. The opponent's going to stay in for a while, which is quite interesting. I did want to go for the pump, however it would have been CMP, and I just want to get some damage onto this thing and misalign the clocks. At this point, I thought it might be the Reezy team, because the opponent's staying in with Wiggly, but the Reezy team, by the way, is Polly and Ape in the back. I thought this is probably the Reezy team, so this is kind of decent now. But yeah, basically, like, I like to throw first to try and misalign the clocks. The opponent shields the Hydro Pump as well, which is kind of insane. And we even make it to a last second player off, which is huge. If we can get a Simul KO or knock this out with the player off, that would be amazing. We actually knock it out and leave ourselves on 1 HP. It's actually Basti, so it's not the Reezy team, but getting alignment is absolutely huge for me here. If my Ninetales sits on top of this thing, that sounded weird, bro. If my Ninetales sits on top of this thing, if this thing is sitting on my Ninetales, okay, that's also weird. If it's Ninetales versus Bastidon, I'm screwed, basically. So I'm pretty happy here. I'll shield the first move. The opponent goes for a catch on Umbreon. I ring in Ninetales, and that should be absolute coitons. That should be coitons, aka curtains. That's me trying to do some sort of a silly accent here, but they go for a side chick. I go for the 1-and-4 in the Water Ball. Unfortunately, we just don't have Gleam for this thing. And you'll actually see here that I think Umbreon actually wins this here, which is kind of silly. Even though they're throwing an alignment, I think they actually win this with Psychic or Last Resort. His 3 moves takes me out. My Water Balls just aren't doing enough. So this is one drawback of not having the big move. This match is going to end up getting pretty close now. I think what I need to do is just get off this move. I guess it's pretty fine. They come into the Basti. I'm pretty happy with this actually, because they're on 1 HP. I'll swap out. We'll go for 1-and-fro here on the Foul Play. 0 turn swap, so you go for the 1-and-fro. And can we make it to a last second move? I go for what could be a CMP, I guess. I was trying to go for a CMP in this case. I just threw an alignment. The opponent's still forced to throw here. We actually, I think, still live a Foul Play, and that's good games. So yeah, like I said, man, super fun team. Highly recommend trying it out. If you start getting hard countered, bro, just swap the team. I had an absolutely horrible day after this. I went really positive this one day. I was like, yo, this team's actually cracked. And there was only 1 day left of Great League, so I was like, you know what? I'll try this for another day. I got absolutely obliterated, bro. Like, I had people in my comments section saying to me, I never believed in the algorithm until I seen the like what you witnessed today. I swear I seen so many Fairforms, it was actually insane. But anyway, guys, have a fantastic rest of your day. Drop a like, subscribe to the channel, very much appreciate the support, and do let me know in the comment section down below if you try this team. And feel free to let me know in the comments if you're playing Great League, Ultra League, or Master League this week. God bless you all, have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll catch you all next time.